Welcome to Plagues of Justinian. I'm Justin. Recently, Nick Shirley went up to Minnesota. He did some investigative journalism on some alleged fraud of the daycares and a few healthcare facilities. Since that happened, there's been a ton. It's been all over social media. It has pretty much dominated social media for about a week straight now. Every now and then I get bored and I jump on threads and I get rage baited into arguing with random people on there or just scrolling. Hopefully I can just scroll, but sometimes I do get kind of tricked into arguing with people. So I saw several today from or about the issue about the Nick Shirley thing. They're just unsubstantiated claims about Shirley being a white supremacist or several things like that we'll get into. I only have a few here. This shouldn't take very long, but this first one it's actually pretty incredible that this man would just blatantly lie this way. Don't know who he is. Pretty sure he had a decent following on Threads. Says he's running for Senate. The Nick Shirley Somali Minnesota hoax will be remembered as the most racist influencer hoax of the year. Nick Shirley is not a racist man. I know racism. I've seen racism. Nick is not racist. He didn't actually uncover any fraud. He just went to people's businesses while they were on vacation. Unsubstantiated claim there. Somalis don't celebrate Christmas as far as I know. I believe they're mostly Muslim. Not saying they don't take vacations, but to say that they're on vacation, this man doesn't know that. He's just lying. It shows you what a cult MAGA is. Of course, we go to that cult, which one of the left's favorite things to say is every accusation is a confession. When they call MAGA a cult, they are projecting. They know that Democrats at the left is a cult. That's why they're not allowed to talk to family members that disagree with them, that are Trump supporters. That's why they disown people. They break up friendships. They don't talk to the other side. They won't even speak to conservatives at protests. And then, of course, he got a bunch of replies on this, and I should have screenshotted a few of those. But he was getting pretty eaten up in the comments, in the replies. So his response to his own post was, Russia has unleashed the bots in the comments. That's who's behind this effort. Nick Shirley is another Putin puppet. Talking about cult. The Russia gate, something that has been debunked for almost a decade, is just a completely made up lie. And he just pushes that freely. He doesn't care because he knows his echo chamber will believe it. Well, this one wasn't in an echo chamber because, like I said, he got ratioed pretty good in the comments. But this whole Russia thing, can we not get over it? I cannot tell you how many times. Actually, I'll probably do a video on that. I'll start getting some screenshots of comments under posts that say, oh, it looks like the Russian bots are here. There's tons of them. People say that no matter what. Even on Facebook, like people have said it about me. You go to my page, it's public for the most part. You can clearly see that I'm not a bot. I'm a real account. I'm a real person. But just because they've never had their opinions tested and they can't really defend them, it's much easier to say, well, that's a Russian bot. That's a bot, than it is to defend your claim. So I will. That's a good video idea for me later on. But yeah, this guy's a clown. And then this guy here, MAGA, I have bad news for you. If all of the mainstream media outlets are not covering a story, it's because it's not a story. It is 2025. Actually, it's the last day of 2025. And it will never stop blowing my mind that there are people out there who still trust in the mainstream media. I'm talking CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. I don't watch Fox News. I'm a conservative. I don't watch it. They're actors. It's all fake. They don't care about the truth. They care about division. They care about demoralization. But this guy actually believes that if something isn't on the news, then it's not real. It's not happening. I mean, he's the meme. It's like if this was true, it'd be on the news. That the news is not what it was 40 years, 30, 40 years ago. Pre 9/11, pre Patriot Act, and then Obama revoked something dealing with propaganda. But they have been force feeding us propaganda pretty much since the invention of the television. But before that, of course. But it's gotten really bad the past 2.5 decades since 9/11. There's no reason to still trust the mainstream media, none whatsoever. They lie. They blatantly lie over and over. They mislead. They take things out of context on purpose. They do know the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Don't ever get that twisted. When you see these people post about Trump saying there's fine people on both sides and pretending that he's talking about the white supremacists and the neo-Nazis, and they'll post that and they'll clip it right before he says, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists because they need to be condemned totally. They'll cut that, and they don't care. Just like the BBC with the January 6th, almost called it an insurrection. Just like the BBC deceptively editing what Trump has said, and they've been doing it to Trump for 10 years at least. They are untrustworthy. They are hateful. They hate you. They want you sad. They want you demoralized. They want you to hate your neighbor. They want you to think that if you're black, they want you to think that white people hate you. If you're Latino, they want you to think that white people hate you. They want you to think that you're hated, that you're oppressed, because we're on a level playing field now. So they can't keep these people on their side if everyone's on a level playing field. So they have to lie. They have to propagandize everything to make people think they're oppressed, whether it's blacks, Hispanics, LGBT, whatever the case is. They lie blatantly. Enough said. And then I love this response here. Democrat platform. If Trump is for it, we're against it. That's their entire platform. And then this guy here, I actually did respond to this. I should have posted my reply, but Sean Bartley music. Nick Shirley is a white supremacist. He is not a journalist. There is no possible way that anybody who has watched even a few of Nick's videos can legitimately believe that he's a white supremacist. Nobody actually believes that. This guy doesn't actually believe that. This guy has a decent following on Threads as well. It's propaganda. It's fascism in action. It's covert fascism, because what this guy thinks he's doing, he thinks that when people see this that agree with Nick, when they see this, he expects them to bow down right away, to stop and say, oh, you know what, I don't want to be called a white supremacist. I don't want to have the same opinions as a white supremacist. They do this over and over. That is fascism. That's why they've been calling us racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, bigoted, xenophobic. Most of the time you hear that on the mainstream media, on social media. It is said in an attempt to silence people with those opinions, whether they're any of those things or not. And the majority of times, they're not. When they call people racist and they didn't do anything or say anything racist, it's because whatever opinion they've spouted, they don't want other people to have that opinion, or they don't want other people to voice that opinion. It is fascism. It is silencing your opponent through fear, essentially. Dude's a clown, though. His whole page, go check it out. He's a clown. The Humanity Archive. A YouTuber knocks on a door in Minneapolis. The video goes viral. 100 million views on X. Elon Musk shares it. Kash Patel announces the FBI is surging resources to Minnesota. Comments flood in. Send them back where they came from. Here's what the video doesn't mention. Those doors have already been knocked on by federal agents with warrants. Raids came in January 2022. 78 charged, 57 convicted. The largest pandemic relief fraud scheme charged to date. Pandemic fraud. This is not what Nick went and did his journalism about. The case is Feeding Our Future. $250 million scheme where fake meal sites claim to feed children who didn't exist. Rosters pulled from list of random names. Excel formulas generating fake ages. Kids as line items. One site claimed 6,000 meals a day. FBI surveillance counted 40 visitors. While real children went hungry during a pandemic, defendants bought honeymoons in the Maldives, beachfront property in Kenya, luxury cars. The fraud was real. The fraud was obscene. It deserves prosecution. Great. Awesome. It does deserve prosecution. It was real. It did happen. And it's still happening. But this is a totally different case. He tells you right there. He says, here's what the video doesn't mention. Those doors have already been knocked on, etc. Because that's not what the video is about. 2022, all of these places that Nick went, each daycare, each healthcare provider, they all have received money every year since 2022. $1 million or more dollars, sometimes up to $3 million. It is an entirely different scandal that this guy's talking about, and he says that. He admits that several times in just these two posts here. It's deflection. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why this guy's bringing this up. All he's doing is showing that Minneapolis thrives on fraud. It's abundant. It's so abundant that liberals can't even keep up with the cases because there's so many. They can't tell whether it's the current one that Nick's talking about or something from 3 years ago where the people have already been prosecuted and turned in. And I mean, this is absurd. It's two different events, folks. It's two different events. It's still happening. It's happening right now. This one is different. This is so gross. The Minnesota GOP hired a sketchy YouTuber. They can never explain why they say these things about people. There's nothing sketchy about Nick. He's a weird dude. I won't lie. He's kind of weird. But he's not sketchy. He's neutral. He's calm. He's cool. He's a normal dude just trying to make a living on YouTube. Now he's into investigative journalism. He's not sketchy. And it's not a smear job. It's reporting. This is how bad our mainstream media is. Our media in general. Our journalism. That when somebody actually does it the correct way and goes to the places and doesn't put a spin on it, it's called a smear job. He did such a good job that they think Nick is smearing the people. That he did such a good job exposing the fraud that these people think it's a smear campaign. Trump then uses his video as a justification for suspending child care payments to Minnesota. Who gets hurt? Minnesotan kids. Then that tells me that somebody needs to be held accountable in that state. And if I'm Tim Walz, I'm taking care of it right away so that the other kids that do need it don't suffer. This person didn't care that it says who gets hurt. Well, who gets hurt when 1.5 million is going to a daycare that doesn't operate, or 3.4 million? Who gets hurt then? Still Minnesotan kids. Nothing changes. They're all being affected, so we might as well hold the people accountable that are doing the illegal things. And then here we have just kind of some back and forth. They can't even keep their story straight. The person in charge of regulating daycares in Minnesota, Tiki Brown, said every daycare in the Nick Shirley video had unannounced visits within the past 6 months, and all of them had children in them. She's lying. She's in on it. I know she's lying because I have a video of her lying, and I'll pull that up, about the Leering Center. She claimed it was shut down a week ago. It would be about 2 weeks ago now, I reckon. And then the same day or the very next day, the owner talking to the media in the parking lot.
Quality Learning Center closed just over a week ago.
As you can see, we're open Mondays through Thursdays, 2 to 10 p.m.
He's like, so as you can see, we're clearly up. We're clearly running. She's a liar. This person said, yeah, because we trust the person in charge of regulating daycares in Minnesota. He's like, you trust a YouTuber? No, I trust the video that I watched. I trust what actually happened. The unedited video, well, of course it's edited, but there were no children. There was no paperwork to sign up for the daycare. It is blatant fraud, and they don't care because it's a conservative YouTuber that found it, or that is talking about it, or it's conservatives that are talking about it. And then the lady here at the bottom, this is just drama from Nick and MAGA. They don't have actual facts and know the history. Poor feeble minds. She's a doofus. She is an idiot, if she's even real. Threads is ripe with AI profiles, with NPCs. Even if some of the people are real on there, they're dumb for the most part. But I will play that video of Tiki Brown and the owner of the alleged daycare. Well, it is a daycare. But to say that, so if this is true here, that every daycare has been visited, there should be a record of that. There should be records every day of kids signing in and out. There should be camera footage. All these things. The Minnesota fraud story has been an ongoing investigation since before COVID, with 92 people charged for financial crimes, and it's just now become an issue for maggots. Wait till they find out that the ringleader of this scheme was a white woman named Amy Brock. It is fascinating to me how comfortable they are with just repeating information that they've heard one time on TikTok or on Threads. They will see something one time and take it as fact. They won't believe Nick's video, actual evidence, video evidence. But when they see something that they believe debunks it, it's confirmation bias, but when they see something that they think debunks it, they believe that. Amy Brock has nothing to do with the daycare fraud or the healthcare fraud. It's a totally different scandal. That's how rampant the fraud is in Minneapolis, Minnesota, wherever the hell they are. There's so many different frauds going on. So much fraudulent activity that these people think. I don't know what they think. But if it's been happening since before COVID, 92 people have been charged. It's still going on. So that means not only is the daycare industry and the healthcare industry corrupt and fraudulent, but also this food issue. Feed our future. What at this point it might be easier to say the institutions that are not corrupted. I mean, it's unbelievable. And this lady, she got 263 likes. She has no idea what she's talking about. And here's another one. Here's this. This is Amy Bach, former director of Feeding Our Future, the ringleader of Minnesota's massive fraud. Facts matter, especially when Trump allies push misleading narratives. Why do facts get ignored so easily? You are pushing the false narrative. You are lying. You have the wrong information. Nobody is denying that this woman, Amy Bach, is involved in fraud. But that does not mean she's involved in this fraud. It's two different scandals. But really, every time they mention this one, it further proves the point that the daycare fraud is happening. Because just a few years ago, they had this massive fraud scandal where 92 people were charged or convicted. I'm not sure what it said. And now it's happening again. It's still happening even with all that. So that tells me it's from the top down. Everybody's involved. Somalis, white people, black people, Hispanics, politicians, non-politicians, volunteers, charity workers, interns, legislator. Everybody's involved, obviously. And a lot of these daycares are donating. We're donating to Somali politicians that are running for office. She looks very happy though. But again, that'll be the end of this video here. It's very important that we call it out when we see it. Fraud, lies, false narratives, propaganda. This person, why do facts get ignored so easily? And then when you go read her replies, she got 468 likes, 127 reposts. But when you go read her replies, she's being corrected. People are telling her, like, hey, you're wrong, that's not what's happening. Or this is a different event. And she ignores it. She doesn't care. She doesn't care because it doesn't fit her narrative, her misleading narrative. We're in a very dire situation in our country that I fear is irreconcilable. I don't know. All things are possible through Christ. That is the only hope for our country, is that we come together through Jesus Christ. That is the only hope. And I don't see it happening because so much of our country is corrupt. We're so hedonistic and nihilistic. We have become our own gods. We have become our own idols. We've allowed money to be an idol. We've allowed status to become an idol. We've allowed material goods to become idols. The good news is that it seems Gen Z and Gen Alpha are on the uptick as far as getting back into church, studying the Word. That's where it starts. It starts with each person. So like me, after I'm done recording this video, I'm going to get in the Word. I'm studying the book of John again. My favorite book of the Bible. You have to be in the Word. You have to have that close relationship with Jesus Christ. When our founders talked about governing ourselves, and we're just talking about electing officials from within our civilian population to govern us. It's each individual governing themselves, making the right decisions. Not doing drugs, not drinking all the time, partying, not smoking, not driving 120 on the interstate, in the rain. Like, self-governance is about the individual governing itself. It's not necessarily about, no kings, no monarchs, but have elected officials from the population. That's not what it's about. I mean, it is, but that's not totally what it's about. Anyway, pray for our country. We're in such a bad state in our country. We need guidance. We need wisdom. We've been given far too much comfort in this country. We have to have Christ. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Thank you for watching. Repent and believe the gospel of Jesus Christ. Thank you.